Again. All right, we are proceeding in Chodesh Adar. This week is what? Purim Koton.
Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Hebrew birthday?
No, Friday, Thursday night.
Thursday night. Okay, so first of all, we'll add wishes of happy birthday. Simcha, and Simcha is the best refuah, so we'll learn for the refuah shlema, for Tzipora Bas Sarah, and for Shlomo ben Nina. And we're also going to dedicate the Shiur La'aliyas Nishmas, Mrs. Brown's mother, Rivka Esther Bas Mordechai. So your son is named after her father. And also Rivka Leah Bas Chaya for a refuah shlema. Okay. Atar Tziona Bas Shilamit Gila Refuah Shlema. Soch Shachol Yisrael. Yeah, sure. Shim ben Yehudis, Haled Moshe ben Saralea, and who else? Mitzi Shendel Bat Malka. Chava Bas Basia. Chavi Basia Bas Ita Riva Rivka. Okay, Besoch Shachol Yisrael. Adar, as I mentioned, we have 16 consecutive weeks of refuah because Ani Hashem Rafecha Adar, Aleph Daled Reish. Daled is a symbol for Hashem's name. In many places where they don't want to have Shemos, they'll put a Daled. So it's a symbol of Hashem's name. Used. And ER is Ani Hashem Rafecha. And it's flanked by Nisan, which flanks Nisan, which of course the matzah itself is called not only Lechem de Menusa, the bread of faith, but the bread of refuah. It's considered refuah tanefesh, kamuvan, which is also the key to refuah taguf, as we all know. But we have 16 consecutive weeks of a chance to mamish heal up. Refuah tanefesh, refuah taguf. This is a very special time period. You have Adar Rishon, Adar Sheni, Nisan, plus the whole month of Iyar. And it's not surprising that we count the Sefira period from then, which is also a period of regeneration and renewal. So really, if you want to think about it, we could stretch this out to Shavuos. Once we cross the Rubicon of Adar, we're already in the zone of Kabbalas HaTorah. Why? Because the two Kabbalas HaTorahs, Torah Shebechsav, was received on Shavuos, and secondarily on Yom Kippur, if you really want to stretch it out, because that was when we got the second Luchos, which is what the first Yom Kippur was all about, the forgiveness of Am Yisrael after Chet HaEgel, which represents the root of a spiritual disease of Avodah Zarah. And so if you want to really understand what's happening, is that we just began a period that starts with Adar Rishon and culminates with Yom Kippur, including Elul, which is Anila Dod Dod Li. And you can think of it as a continuum of healing where we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger through Yom Kippur, and finally we're ready to celebrate Sukkot, because Sukkot is the reunification with the Shekhinah. And since Adar is really a warm-up for Pesach, that's really what that time period is all about. With Pesach we begin, Yetzias Mitzrayim, the starting of the renewal of Emunah. Refuah doesn't complete itself fully until Shavuos, but extends in terms of the inner realm of Torah Shebaal Peh all the way through Yom Kippur, and that ushers us into Sukkot. This is the time period we've entered, called the post-Hanukkah, So really the year kind of divides that way into two parts, if you want to think about it. Rosh Hashanah is an overlap, but really Sukkot, and the end of Sukkot, when we begin the season of rain, right? So you have Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, and Shvat. Those 4 months are our real months of struggle, darkness. Kislev, till the very end of Kislev is not Hanukkah, it's the darkest time of the year. Tevet is a continuous that. We have Asar B'Tevis, which is the beginning of the period of the Churban, right? Shvat, until we get to Tu B'Shvat, we're not even seeing the beginning of anything. And then from Tu B'Shvat, if you think about it, it's 1 month till what's supposed to be Purim, right? Tu B'Shvat goes to Tu Adar, so that's really how the year kind of divides. You can even look at it in 3 parts. The 4 months of challenge, right? The 4 months of of the real rehabilitation, and then once we're rehabilitated, then we really reunite with Hashem. Those 4 months of moving up the ladder, which is a real intense period of getting, and you know, ironically, the last quarter of the year, really, which ends with Tishrei, so you want to look at it as Elul and Tishrei, right? Tammuz and Av, right? Those are the 4 months. In those 4 months, 2 of those months have yet to be liberated on a spiritual level. We don't have the Kedusha of Tammuz and the Kedusha of Av have not, once we get to Tu B'Av, it starts. Again, because that's 30 days till Tetzaveh, till, you know, it's 2 weeks till Elul. We're already within the month cycle of 2 Elul, which is already the Pros HaChag at the beginning of the year. So what's the Geula will come. And when the Geula comes, those months, Tammuz, you're going to see, we're going to be flying high. Tammuz and Av will be like Elul and Tishrei, on a very high trajectory. But we're not up. This is in the times of Mashiach. And of course, what happened in Tammuz? Where do we slip up in Tammuz? Shavasar B'Tammuz was what? Cheda Ego. Right. We were right there. We had all the opportunity. We were on our way. Okay, so it's nice to look at it a little bit in an overview. But I like this notion of giving chizuk to everybody. We're 16 weeks. You didn't get it in the first week, you'll get it in the second week. We're coming up to 2 weeks in. We still got 14 weeks to go. All right, on that note, I want to address something between the parshios of Tetzaveh and Kitisa, which we are speaking about. Adar is the period of Hester Panim. There was Hester Panim, right? Esther is Hanochi Haster Astir. What about Parshas Tetzaveh also, which we just read, has to do with a Hester, a hiddenness? What's hidden? Moshe's name is completely hidden. And it needs an explanation why Moshe's name is hidden. There's a standard explanation, the Purim quotes it, and he says, Moshe Rabbeinu, in this week's Parsha, Kitisa, after the Cheda Egel, which again happened in Tammuz, then he said, Moshe was told by Hashem, I'll build a new nation from you. I don't need Klal Yisrael. In other words, you are the Shoresh Tov that has descended from Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. The rest will be Dras, will Klipot, will do away with them. And you will be the refined Shemen Zayit Zach, ironically. Shemen Zayit Zach, which is the beginning of Parshas Tetzaveh. The pure, refined oil, halot ner tamid, you, Moshe, are my refined oil. Moshe says, I want no part of it. What does he say instead? Mecheni na misifrecha. Mecheni na. Now, mecheni na can also be arranged into the words, what? Me Noach. The waters of Noach. What's the difference between Moshe and Noach? Noach didn't say, Hashem, I don't want any part of this. You cannot rebuild the world through me, because it's either keep your people that you have, or I'm out. Noach said, all right, you want to get rid of those guys? Let's get rid of them. We'll move on with us, okay?
Were those people a lot worse than...
To be fair, yes.
Sure.
To be fair, yes. But that was part of what? That was symptomatic of it. Noach was eat tzaddik l'dorosav, because the best that he could do was agree with Hashem that we should start over. Moshe is on a completely different level. Moshe is the...
And even his kids were not on his level.
No. Well, there's a reason for that, but we'll get to that in a moment. Hold on to this for a second. Moshe Rabbeinu and Yaakov Avinu are compared to Nechoshet. Remember that in the Mishkan, most of the things are Zahav and Kesef. There's only one thing really, 2 things really, that are made out of Nechoshet, other than a few supporting, connecting beams that hold things together. What? The outside Mizbeach is called Mizbeach HaNechoshet. It was really fashioned out of earth, stone, but it had a covering of Nechoshet. Really earth. Nechoshet stands for... Of?
Ner, Choshet, Ner. No, it's all the things in the temple.
Oh, that
The
were
Nair is for the menorah.
Nair.
The menorah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Chet.
then Chet is for the,
Oh, the Hoshin Mishpat that we have that with Kohen Gadol wears. Very good. I'm getting a great cheer here.
the Shin.
And then
The Shin is for Shulchan.
Shulchan, right?
And the Samach is for,
Well, it's stuff. The stuff.
Saf is for, what was in the,
Well, she said Nair already, but it could be. It could be the Mizbeach HaZahav, which is you have to do Ketores Tamid. I don't know, but but what does that mean though? Well, so how do you understand what that means? The Mizbeach HaNechoshes, ironically, is identified and is a big problem in Rashi. And again, let me just show you where I'm going. I don't want to lose you. Moshe Rabbeinu's name is absent. We started with that. Okay? Moshe Rabbeinu's name is associated with Nechoshes. So is Yaakov. Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, Kesef Zahav Nechoshes. There are other things actually. Yehosef is the gematria of Zahav. This the Abir Yaakov says, and the Baal Turim, I believe, as well. And then according to Baal Turim, Moshe is Nechoshes because it breaks into two words. Noach, Shes. Noach, Shes. Now that's what I was referring to a moment ago, is that those were the stages of refinement of mankind. The first one, Noach being after Shes being earlier, Kilu, and Shes was when we replaced which two individuals? Cain and Hevel. Okay, and also it was the re-emergence, the resilience of Adam and Chava, because Chava and Adam reunited in order to produce a new child, a post-Gan Eden child, because Cain and Hevel were born in the garden. Okay, guess what? Before the sin. Before the sin. Wait. I want to make sure that's correct. Because the ninth hour was already, ninth hour, Lamita, they came. Okay, I believe so. But irrespective. They were born miraculously and complete. And the first thing.
Cain and Hevel were both born in the garden?
In the garden. Which then leads us.
They were born by the time the sin happened?
I don't want to make a mistake. I will tell you that my memory serves me that they were born prior. I think they were born prior. The Gemara says about what happened each hour.
Is that what Adam was busy with? How Chava was talking to sin?
Well, he might have been busy taking care of them. I don't know. It's not like they needed to be diapered or anything. But I will tell you that Adam, after the sin, takes his two sons with him outside and tries to rebuild. Tries to rebuild.
Rebuild.
That helps you understand one of the
What does
most...
that mean, rebuild?
Repair the damage. Because after they were thrown out of Gan Eden, there was a sword, Lahat Cherev Mitapeches, the revolving sword, which means you couldn't go close or you're going to get pulverized.
Oh, right.
Right?
The blender.
Like a blender, right? Like a saw, like a buzz saw. And he took them out of the garden. They had no choice. They were all expelled. And he said to them, bring carbonos. Now, what is he telling them to bring carbonos for? He said
to bring carbonos?
bring carbonos. He told them, go bring carbonos.
So that idea was there already?
Yes, because
Before the story.
Adam Arishon brought a carbon the day that he realized he post sin, he wasn't going to be killed immediately. He was still being given his 1,000 years of life, even though he wasn't immortal any longer. He was mortal. He was given a day, but a day in Hashem's eyes is 1,000 years. He was given a day. He lived to die another day, as they say. But it was 1,000 years. But why did Adam tell Cain and Hevel to bring a carbon? Because we needed to now enter a new phase of Avodas Hashem. Avodas Hashem after the Chet is not the same as living in Gan Eden. In Gan Eden, there was a straight path to the tikkun, to the final world. All they had to do was follow the mitzvos, and they would have evolved even further from what they are. Okay, now hang in there. Remind me that the spice tziporim, about the spice tziporim. Write that down. Yes. Ramchal says that they just had to keep the mitzvos that Hashem gave them, which was what? Don't eat from the Eitz Hadas Tov Ra, and they would have been able to eat from the Eitz HaChaim. Once they would have eaten from the Eitz HaChaim, which is synonymous with what? What's the Eitz HaChaim? Torah. Eitz Chaim Hilam Achazikim Ba. They would have received the Torah, so to speak, on whatever form or level it would have been relevant to them. You understand? Because they weren't exactly human in our regards. And Hashem knew that they were going to sin and that man would receive the Torah. And Bishvil Yisrael, Shenikra Reit, it would be a Klal Yisrael. But in theory, the Bechira was there. It just Hashem knew that they would fail that test. And I actually believe that it was part of the divine design. That's what Hashem really wanted. Because He wants to give us a chance, us lowly creatures, a chance to rebuild and recoup. You know, there's nothing sweeter than coming back from all the way down from broke. If a guy was a millionaire or a rich guy and he gets perfect nothing and then he fights his way back, he appreciates his accomplishments a lot more. That's the principle called Nahama de Kisufa. Hashem that's one of the cornerstones of Jewish belief, is the reason. They'll say to you, why did Hashem create this world? So we would earn our reward. Now, even though Adam could have earned his reward by following the mitzvos of Hashem in Gan Eden, still, you know, he failed that Bechira, and now we have a much, much more difficult Bechira. But as Adam HaRishon, first plan was, okay, let's try to work with Cain and Hevel, the refugees from the Gan, and pick up and get back on track. How did that go? Did that go well? That didn't go very well at all.
Why would they punish the father and mother?
That leads me to my next point, although I think I'm giving the end of this year before the beginning of this year.
I remember the Nechosha thing.
Go ahead.
Moshe basically was very disappointed. He didn't understand three things. The three things he didn't understand were the menorah,
Right.
the Machzir HaShekel,
Right.
and the Choshen Mishpat. So these were all indications that he wasn't going to go into the promised land.
Oh.
The menorah that was supposed to be for all the nations, each menorah to fight off a different nation, and he realized there's only one menorah. Why is there only one menorah? We see in Shlomo's time that he had menorahs for every single nation that he had to fight off. He had to have a menorah to go against that nation, to be able to be.
Or to conquer them
conquer
and to
them.
enlighten them, so to
Exactly,
speak, to attach
enlighten
them,
right.
to attach them to Torah.
And the Machzir HaShekel, Hashem's name, when you take the Yud Kei Vav Kei, comes out to shekel. So he's saying, why are the Jews giving half a shekel? They should be giving a shekel. The answer is, in the time before the Golus, while it's still in Golus, if he realized he wasn't going to be the Redeemer, because only when we be redeemed will we give a whole shekel, which equals Yud Kei Vav Kei.
Very
And
good.
the third thing is the Choshen. He wasn't wearing it. It was given to Aaron.
Correct.
So he knew again he's not going to be redeeming the Jewish people in a full redemption. In other words, he's not going to take them into Israel. And that was the Choshen.
He knew that before?
He didn't understand these three things.
Moshe was told, as we learnt, that he was not going to be the one. Where did they learn that? They learned that Shiras Hayam. Do you remember we said? Azeshia Moshe, but at the end we said that Moshe saw that he would come back. The Makar of Trias HaMesim, Moshe is going to have to come back to finish the job. Which means that this process, which began with Adam and moved forward in various stages, still has not reached completion. They thought it was going to reach completion with the first Beis HaMikdash. It almost did. And that's why Shlomo built 10 of everything. All right. I keep going ahead of myself, but that's appropriate because I want to get Let me just frame a couple of questions, okay? We're doing a lot of, that's beautiful. Okay, let me reiterate what Julie shared with us. So Nechoshes stands for the things that Moshe didn't understand. The shekel, what's the choshen, and the menorah is the tes, is the nun. Nun stands for menorah. Ner, which is the menorah, right? Ner tamid. And what's the suf? A suf is the final. So it's not final. This proves to him that he's not final. Okay? And then we also said that it stands for Noach Sheis. That's the Baal Turim. And I'll add, it stands for Nachash Sheis. Because what is Nachash? What else was Nechoshes that Moshe was involved in? The Nachash HaNechoshes.
Right.
And remember, it's not even called... It's called by Moshe Nachash HaMechoshes, right? Nechoshes. Nechoshes. Again, that combination. Noach Sheis, Nachash, Tough. Right?
And the Shiur was also...
Tough means upright. It's the right? What did he do with the Nachash? Put it straight up in the air. A Nachash is usually vertical. I mean, it's horizontal. He puts them up vertical. All right, so let's regroup. Everybody with us? Okay. Put on your seatbelt. Here we go backwards. Let's go backwards. We started by asking the question of we said that Adar is a month of Refuah. We also said that it also marks the Tetzaveh is always in and around Adar. Has to usually it's Parshas Amalek. It's usually it's right connected to Purim. And Tetzaveh's name is, Moshe's name is absent. Okay? Perfectly absent. Now, we also said that there was a Mizbeach HaNechoshet, which appears towards the end of the Kalim. It's the outer one, right? And its purpose was to do the actual karbanos, but its essence was Adama. In fact, we said that right after Matan Torah. Mizbeach Adama Ta'aseli. That's what it says in Parshas Yisro, right after Matan Torah. An earth. But what's the word used? Adama. So who is Adama? Who is Adama? Adam. That Adam will be elevated through this Mizbeach. We're going to finish the work of Adam. And that's why Nechoshes is associated, like say, by the Shem Yishmuel, by others, as identified as Yaacov. Because Yaakov Avinu, who created the Shvatim, right? And the Shvatim are very prominent on the Big Day Kahuna. They have to be there. Because that's the mechanism. In Eretz Yisrael, with the Shvatim, united, you get a Beis HaMikdash. Without it, you get nothing. Nothing. And what is Aaron HaKohen's job? Hold that together. He puts it on his shoulders. He takes it on his shoulders to keep Klal Yisrael there. Their names are right here. Okay? Why there? As a testimony, Chazal tell us, that they said when Yaakov Avinu asked them, what's wrong with you guys? Why am I not getting my ruach? Bikesh Yaakov v'galos l'sakates. Why is this program not working? What's wrong with you guys? And they say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, which is Adut. The two Adim, right here. That's what it represents. We're here, we're in. Okay? And then, of course, the Urim B'Tumim with Hashem's name behind it, using the names of the Shvatim, but not only those names. Which are the names? Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov's names had to be there because they contain letters that are not in the names of the Shvatim, like a Kuf. There's no Shevet with the name of a Kuf. And through the Shvatim and as their connection to the Avos, then we get Shiftei Yeshurun. We get the tribes of straightness, Yeshurun. And that's going to fix everything. But the Mizbeach HaNechoshes is symbolic of Yaakov/Moshe's ability, right, to finish the tikkun that Adam Harishon started, but it went very badly. It went awry because of Cain and Hevel. Now, the truth is, let's go one step deeper. Why was Cain so nasty? I mean, Hevel was a nice guy. Moshe is a Gilgal, according to the Ria Kadosh, of Hevel. A nice guy, great guy. What happened to Cain? So, who pushed his way in with brazenness into the holy shidduch of Adam and Chava? The Nachash. Get it again? Nachash Nechoshes. Nachash Nechoshes. He pushed his way in.
Question
Yeah.
that started bothering me this week. Why were they so apart from each other? They were a fairly new couple, and Adam recognized her importance. He asked for her. What were they doing so far apart from each other that the Nachash had even a chance to have a private conversation with her?
Oh, it's a very good point. Where was Adam when that conversation took place? The answer is he was sleeping. He was asleep. He was asleep. Whether literally or figuratively. She woke him up and said, "Here, eat this."
You see, I wonder if that's not part of the thing,
No doubt. No doubt.
which is related to appreciation
Correct.
and caring of each other.
That's
which is what
correct.
was lacking
Very,
in
very good.
Cain and Abel.
And that the two kruvim are not facing each other, but facing away from each other. Distance. Because ultimately, what is the Hashras
And that
Hashrina?
distance is
Is
what gave the
union.
Nachash
It's the union.
The place to come
Right. Creates a space. Right. You'd be a good marriage therapist. I do marriage therapy. Can I use that
in.
metaphor?
What kind of method? Oh,
Marriage
Marriage,
therapy, yeah.
oh.
Because when you have that distance, all kinds of, what does it say? Bor reik ein bo mayim. What's in there?
something bad.
Nechashim ve'akravim. Brings nachash inside. Bitterness and jealousy, which is what happened between Yosef and his brothers. When there's distance of the heart, whose job is to keep the distance from being too far? Aaron HaKohen.
He took upon himself.
He took upon himself. What was his job? Ohev Shalom. That was the name of
Rodev
Marshul.
Shalom.
Rodev Shalom.
Yeah, but some advice was not so good. He's telling a little white lie.
Well, what's not good? Apparently, he thought it was great.
It worked. It worked.
It worked.
Moshe is emes, Terasa emes. Aaron is shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom and emet have an interesting relationship. You know, you need shalom, you stretch the emes. That's what's called diplomacy.
Beginning of the end.
But that's what's really,
Lying.
in a way,
That's true, but it has to be
the
l'shem
larger
shamayim.
picture of MS, which is what we see with Yaakov.
It's right, exactly. That's the struggle. But the lies of the Nacha. So what's the difference, really? So now let me kind of blow this open for you. Ready? I have no patience. The Nachash represents Azus Panim. Azus Panim. Now, what is Azus Panim?
It is
Re-
constant.
So let's go to Pirkei Avos. Pirkei Avos, we
It's
say.
the brazenness of contradicting Hashem.
Okay. Well, remember the word panim. What does panim mean? What could panim mean? What are the possible interpretations of the word pan? Yes, in, penetrate. Okay, so in other words, azos panim means you barge your way into places which you don't necessarily belong. What did the Nachash do? He intruded upon the privacy of Adam and Chava, and if you really want to know, look at what Chazal say. What does Rashi say? Why did the Nachash all of a sudden? But where did he get the idea that he wanted Chava from? He saw them being in an embrace, intimate, and then he was jealous. So he tried to, how shall I say, inject himself into that holy space. That's called azus panim, right? Like an A's. You know what an A's does? It jumps. It jumps. You jump in. Who else jumps in but not for Kedusha? Amalek. Amalek is brazenness, azus panim. Now, there's three types of azus that Chazal speak about. Ready? One is azus panim. That's what they tell you when you're a kid. Azus panim. They take to you in Yiddish. Only people speak in Yiddish. Azus panim. You weren't respectful of your elders. There's also in Chazal two other things. Part of our Yom Kippur davening, Rosh Hashanah davening, what do we klap chet, al chet what? Azus metzach. Azus metzach means a brazenness of the forehead. And it's what's mean is it means to be a wanton sinner, W-A-N-T-O-N, a wanton sinner, meaning not busha. I'm a sinner and I don't care. And the example is the Isha Zona is the brazenness. She's brazen. She's brazen. She does what she does, and she's not embarrassed by it. And then there's another type of azus, which is very important, which is known as azus de kedusha, the holy audacity.
Like Pinchas?
Could be, or the example of azus de kedusha. We'll have to figure out 1 second what is azus de kedusha, okay? But it's in the Pirkei Avos, right? Pirkei Avos.
Was it,
On the positive side, have az kanamer, right? Kal kanesher, ratz kitzvi, and gibor kari. 4 midos that can be used to serve Hashem. Az, the boldness of a leopard. We're going to get to leopards in a second. Okay? I did a little bit research on why namer, like why of all the creatures is a leopard considered the prototype of Azus. See in a second. And Kal Kanesher, the eagle which floats above it all. Okay? Ratz Kitzvi, quick. And Gibor Ka'ari. Gibor Ka'ari is used in Shulchan Aruch as getting up in the morning and jumping out of bed. In other words, conquering your laziness and your, sluggishness. Heart of a lion. We speak about having the heart of a lion, right? So the same in Pirkei Avos we learn az panim legehenim. So there's a contrast of az kanamer, which can be used for the service of Hashem, and az panim legehenim. So figure it out. What's the difference? All right. So I just want to retrace my steps so that everybody's with me, okay? Because I don't want to lose you. I want to lose you. What?
Who was the representative?
The nachash is the opposite of azus kedusha, right? Is the az kanamer. All right. So 1 second. Let's talk about namerim for a minute. Okay. Here's the story. Leopard attacks. It's like this. Leopards are easily turned into human eaters. A leopard is the most dangerous of all the big cats towards human beings, and even towards animals. It has the chutzpah to go after very large animals like a lowland western gorilla. It doesn't have any busha from anybody. It'll go after you. They're smaller than lions. They're incredible climbers, and they're incredibly strong. They will kill a human being and drag him up a tree and keep it safe there. Okay? They tolerate proximity to humans better than lions and tigers, and often come into conflict with humans when raiding livestock. In other words, they are willing to go into the boundaries, cross the boundaries to the human world.
And not even scared off by it.
Not at all. In fact, they gave a case here where there was 40 goats and a little boy sleeping. Most of these attacks take place in Nepal and India, by the way. Nepal, India. But also Central Soviet Asia, Caucasus, Turkmenistan, even as close as Azerbaijan.